Now in the Black Box with Spider Loke, Most Easty, a.k.a. BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang. Let's go!
Listen. Gratitude is the attitude. Show is a blessing. To be back in the Black Box. Black Box.
Relax, roll up as we randomly react to content in these YouTube streets. It's time for R&R.
Nightwood Nip Hustle. Big shout out to my SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the Black Box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
7 C's, 3 G's. You already know. Rest in peace to Tookie. Y'all see the title. I learned a little something. I've seen this. And I was just watching this for my own personal pleasure. Decided to react to it. But I didn't realize that they basically were saying Tookie had action that may be getting a stay of his execution had he debriefed. And he just spoke about debriefing. Like, it ain't no question. You debrief, you bump. All bad. Period. Point blank. And it's like he'd rather go to the chair than the share. No further ado, let's see what Big Tookie has been up to. Shout out Al Prophet for doing the heavy lifting.
Stanley Williams has spent 23 years, nearly half his life, at San Quentin State Prison near San Francisco, awaiting execution for robbing and murdering 4 people. Williams says since he's been on death row, he's had time to reflect on the violence and destruction he caused by founding the CRIPs, the most notorious street gang in America. And 11 years ago, in an effort to redeem himself, he made an appeal to street gangs everywhere to make peace. From his 9-by-4-foot prison cell, he has authored 9 books for school children that warn about the perils of gangs and violence, gangs and drugs, gangs and self-esteem, and about the harsh realities of life in prison. And from death row, Williams has been running a one-man multimedia campaign to promote his anti-gang message, which extends from the internet, where he has his own website, to a reverential made-for-TV movie about his life.
I used to be the king of the Crips. Look at my kingdom now.
What do you think he's trying to accomplish with these books?
Well, I think that all of this is all part of his way of attempting to escape the executioner.
Leave it up to an old Sambo. Oh, he ain't sincere. No way possible. Out of here.
And being held accountable for the heinous crime he committed on March 11th, 1979, when he shot a 67-year-old man in a motel and shot his 63-year-old wife, then turned and shot his 43-year-old daughter.
Although Stanley Williams has lost all of his numerous appeals so far, he still maintains he's innocent of the 4 murders that landed him in prison. The federal appeals court in California, which a year and a half ago upheld Stanley Williams' death penalty conviction, also made a highly unusual statement in support of Williams, saying that his laudable efforts opposing gang violence and his good works and accomplishments since incarceration may make him a worthy candidate for clemency from the governor. That came as a surprise to Robert Martin, the man who prosecuted Stanley Williams and sent him to death row.
I just was astonished that a judge would say that. Stanley was a very brutal person, and I would see.
With that being said, they're talking about his accomplishments since all that. You're not saying he did anything brutal in prison that you can report of. So you're saying something that he did before 1979, and the judge is giving his assessment on what he's done since then. Some just can't hide the hate on mama.
No moral equivalent between what he's doing with the books and the crimes that have been charged.
He is incapable of doing something morally equivalent. There perhaps is nothing morally equivalent, even if but his hands are tied. He's limited because of his conditions. He's incarcerated. But even had he been free that whole period of time, how do you replace that? There is no moral equivalent. That's not what this is about.
To be cured or to be rehabilitated, the first thing you have to do is to admit that you're an alcoholic.
This is not alcoholism, and you only have to admit to God. Only God can judge me. You have no obligation to explain yourself to humans.
He's never admitted that he's a murderer. Therefore, how can he be rehabilitated?
So you think that today, by sitting down and talking to prison authorities, he could help diffuse the situation on the streets?
By him being himself involved in debriefing, it opens the door for others that are in the CRIP gang to come forward, and they will tell their stories. But when
COINTELPRO, this dude ain't no good. The only good Tookie Williams could do with his influence is influence others to debrief. Man, that's crazy.
they see their original godfather who stands tall in the face of, as they say, in the face of death, and he refuses to tell anything, then that makes that young 16-year-old that's out there with that weapon feel just as committed.
So here's some of the San Quentin officials talking about, well, Tookie wasn't really reformed because he didn't debrief. He could have told us where the Crips were, how they were selling dope and moving guns. Well, that's obviously crazy. He had been in prison for 20 years at that point, and by that time there were hundreds of Crip sets with tens of thousands of members doing whatever they wanted to do. Did Tookie probably have some say-so in prison? Well,
if it was just one body, he probably would have action. I think it's the multiple bodies, cuz.
He was, I think, in the CCO, Consolidated Crip, or Blue Nose, or whatever. He was stanned by Little Fee as part of a power struggle. So Tookie had some say-so in prison. Doesn't mean it was criminal say-so. But the idea that he had a bunch of information that could stop crimes on the street is clearly kind of ridiculous.
But what information could he have that would be of any value to law enforcement authorities who are investigating present-day gang activity when he's been locked up for over 20 years?
There's a great deal of contact that go on between the outside community and the inmates within these walls. He can explain to us how they gain their money, how they set up their trafficking. He can explain on how they have set up for the collection of weapons.
Stanley Williams told me he doesn't have anything to give. He has no current information about the Crips, and even if he did, he says it would violate his code of honor to be debriefed.
I have to say that the word debriefing is a euphemistic term for snitching, and my convictions won't allow that.
And
that's a cold perspective to be put over the concept of debriefing. Ooh, I would love to hear some of these guys debate that. Oh, my mama.
In 2005, Stanley Tookie Williams became the second to last person by the state of California. There was one guy right after him. So they had an agenda to definitely make sure to get, at least publicly, the person considered the founder of the Crips, along with Raymond Washington, who had already been dead now.
Guess they ain't heard Crips don't die, they multiply.
Did other people do stuff in the Crips? Sure, that's a whole nother story, but he was certainly the most famous. And if you were a politician, I guess it made it look like you were doing something about this criminal plague on Los Angeles landscape. You executed the founder, so I don't think Tookie had much of a chance to get clemency at the end. It is interesting, though, he never would admit he did those homicides, and I'd have to read all into the case, which I'm not going to, but it was a lot of circumstantial evidence. But people go to prison for circumstantial evidence all the time, so Tookie Williams at the epicenter of a lot of interesting big stuff. The Crips themselves. Why was he helping run all these boys' homes at the very time he was spreading the Crip message? Kind of strange. What was his connection with Arnold Schwarzenegger, if any?
I was struck by how long it took. It was at least 22 minutes from when he entered the room to when they read the death warrant. There was just an awful lot of and taping things down, and he raised his head several times and spoke to them. He looked exasperated at the length of the process of doing this. And by my watch, it was 36 minutes and 15 seconds from when he walked in the room alive to when they declared him.
One of the more charismatic, interesting criminals of the late 20th century in urban America, at least, Stanley Tookie Williams, our prophet, American dope.
Working together, we can put an end to this cycle that creates deep pain in the hearts of our mothers, our fathers, and our people who have lost loved ones to this sense.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. 97 ways we gon' live it. You can tell me shit about my crippin'. I've been a loco my living. Now it's time to chase me a bag. 97 ways we gon' live it. Big Mac in the building. 97 ways we gon' live it. We gon' live it. 97 ways we gon' live it. You can tell me shit about my crippin'. I've been a loco my living. Now it's time to chase me a bag.
100,000 feel like something when you're thumbing through it. Done it when some would say one would be dumb to do it. Running circles round rappers on their last lap. PayPal perhaps. Ass cap the cash app. Ass app is how I expect the next direct deposit. Positivity love phone posits check the closet. To say we touching paper is an understatement. Underground label running late, tell them run the payment. Executive decisions, check the balance. Time to monetize the talents, I accept the challenge. Memory of crazy tune, 111 days. Local for my days, 97 ways.
97 ways we gon' live it. You can tell me shit about my crippin'. I've been a loco my living. Now it's time to chase me a bag. 97 ways we gon' live it. Big Mac in the building. 97 ways we gon' live it. We gon' live it. 97 ways we gon' live it. You can tell me shit about my crippin'. I've been a loco my living. Now it's time to chase me a bag.
Unable to fake it, fuck how they take it. Heard about the meeting, I was able to make it. Just sick of watching Sherm heads squabble each other while the judge steady handing out lottery numbers. It go down year round, ain't gotta be summer. Life's a bitch and niggas never get apologies from her. Dumber, big and little homies frequently locking. Don't see no other options, that's the reason they flocking. SPI ain't the nigga, how you figure fat? Gift the gab, every gig get a bigger bag. Either name your price or it's appropriation. Finesse game, nigga nice with negotiations.
97 ways we gon' live it. You can tell me shit about my crippin'. I've been a loco my living. Now it's time to chase me a bag. 97 ways we gon' live it. Big Mac in the building. 97 ways we gon' live it.
Nigga in that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned, all that.
It's the homie cook-up boss, goddammit, Cub Low. And y'all tuning in to the Wake and Bake Show with goddammit the homeboy Spider Low.
Here with SPI, the realest nigga in LA.
Spider this bitch!
My name is Spider Low. Spider Low, nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
Spider Low.
So Spider looks at me because we go back to the juvenile side of the county.
What the fuck?
My nigga.
Spider Low.
Spider Low. Shout out to SPI, that motherfucking nigga.
Spider Low, Wake and Bake. Better keep it Google, nigga.
Loke is in LA somewhere doing what he's doing.
In the words of Spider Loke on my mama's mama.
Spider Loke's gear. This is Bay Mac.
Nate Blood, C-Mac. Shout out my Loke. Spider Loke, huh? Nate Blood on hood. It's a beautiful world. You fight me? Fight, crib.
point blank. Do no subliminal dissing. When I listen, I can tell you never been on no mission. Sticking to the script, don't care if I offend you. Neighborhood crib, the marathon
I overlook my
continue.
competition, never seeing them. I done trained my mind that I'm going. You could tell by how I walk, talk, I'm a boss. A east side millionaire, homie, what you thought? My life is a movie. They can't get close to me. They mad cause they can't be. I'm everything that they wanna be. Yeah.
You are now in the Black Box with Spider Loke, Most Easty, aka BJ Keyway, and the Google Gang.
Let's go!